right, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. All right.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
2 ideas I just had when walking in here, though. A movie called Kevin's and Karen's, which is which is just what Eric Andre did with his movie, which is like pranking and having an actual plot line through the movie. And it's just the people in Mad TV the couple that are on the bench, and they're just constantly bickering and moaning at the other kids.
That's really good. Okay.
And they're Kevin's and Karen's. That was
Mhm.
I was
Okay.
walking in and I was like, Kevin's and Karen's. What else did I have on there? I had Titanic meets Fast and Furious.
Wait. In what way?
So big, large boats that move fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like lots of very large boats.
Yeah.
I kind of
think like
okay.
ocean, like
Yeah.
ocean
Wait.
cruises.
You said a lot of very large
Yeah,
boats,
like-
and they all
Like,
move
are
fast.
they racing boats that are the size of the
And
Titanic?
if I say
Yeah,
no, you would have been
yeah.
like, all right, well,
I'm not in anymore.
They're racing boats the size of the Titanic. There's like 1,000 people on board, and they're like going like.
It feels like one of those like
10,000
sci-fi
knots.
like megalodon movies. Like, where
Yeah.
like it makes to be really funny.
Luke, Titanic meets Fast and Furious. I need you to Photoshop Titanic with Jack in the front doing the hand thing. They're put a helmet on
and
them.
he's like about to hit like the
And then
NOS button on Titanic.
Yep, that's it. And then Vin Diesel is behind him with like a gun or something.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. Figure it out, Luke.
Titanic definitely has rocket
paid for that.
boosters.
I'm not gonna lie though. Is there a reason why you wouldn't do Fast and the Furious on boats or jet skis?
Because it's probably boring.
Because people don't care as much about boats or jet skis as
Because
they do
like
as
turning
cars.
on water looks the same. It's
I
like a
think they did do
NASCAR
it in
movie
Fast
in a
and Furious.
sense.
I think they
yeah.
have
No,
in the movie.
they did that already. All right.
Yeah, Fast and the Furious is doing that in the next one.
All right. I
Vin
like this one.
Diesel's is a big listener on our show.
Big listener.
Thanks for the 10 bits, Vin.
Yeah, thanks for all the bits. We're streaming here on Twitch TV today. Actually, Justin TV.
First idea is a drama. It's called Backseat. It was originally called Passenger. So I really like Reign Over Me style ghost town. And Adam Sandler is a lottery winner, and he is buying another. He always still buys like scratch offs and lottery tickets. He's kind of a loner. He buys this scratch off. There is a major accident outside. He goes outside, and his body is engulfed with the dead Jamie Foxx, and dead Jamie Foxx is in his head. And
Oh, okay. He's like taking over, like a ghost.
yeah, so he's not taking over completely. He just hears him in his head.
Okay.
So Jamie Foxx thinks he's still alive and kind of backs into it and hits Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler is going through a multitude of things. He's like a failed artist. Has a lot of money, obviously. Has no friends or family. The point of the back seat was kind of like you have to kind of take the reins on your own life, and he's always kind of the back seat of everyone else's. So his brother, he loves his like niece and nephew, but his brother he's in a lawsuit with because his brother took money from him, stole money from him, and it's like Judd Apatow, and he still sees his niece and nephew, and Judd is actually like upset that they're not family anymore, and that was like a big misunderstanding. But he's like, nah, fuck you. You like stole from me.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Foxx now wants Adam to be part of his life. Like, yo, I'm still a part of you. Like, you need to help me out. So he's constantly taking this back seat on everyone's life. And he starts falling in love for Jamie Foxx's wife.
Oh my
And
God,
Jamie
this
Foxx
is
is
great.
like, yo, what the fuck is going on? He's like, I think I love your wife. And it's just like this whole mix of feelings. There's a psychologist in it who is a big character. And in the beginning of the movie, he basically says, like, I'm so depressed. Before I go to sleep, I close my eyes and I just kind of think, like, I'm not going to enjoy the next day. So she says, like, what do you enjoy? And he's like an artist, like he paints and stuff. Draws, paints. And she wants him to get revitalized in this, so he does, and he's kind of starting to kind of pick himself up. And then Jamie Foxx is starting to pick himself up, and he's starting to talk to his brother again, and he paints this painting and he brings it to her, and she's like, and it's her, and she's like, I can't be your psychologist. You painted me, and he's like, no, it's not like a thing I have with you, and so she basically says, you need to find another psychologist. This is kind of not gonna work. I'm sorry. Bobby Cannavale's her husband. He sees him at a bar, and he's like, "You painted my wife," and he starts like fighting him. And then he sees him later on, and Bobby like apologizes. He's like, "I was kind of mad because it's like a good painting. She looks good in it. You did a good job, but I didn't know. I just had strong feelings." And he kind of learns more about Adam, and he says all the stuff that he already knows. He's like, "Yo, that your wife can't be telling you that stuff." And he's like, "Well, you're not her client anymore, so she told me basically your whole life." So he starts to just kind of navigate like some of his past with being the backseat of everyone else's life.
Okay.
To kind of come to the conclusion at the end, when he goes to sleep, he's kind of content with waking up again. He's kind of like happy for once.
Okay.
He has plans. He has things going on the next day, and it's kind of you taking the driver's seat of your life.
That's nice. How does he get Jamie Foxx out of his head?
So this was a big thing. I think Jamie Foxx either A, is in a coma and comes back to life, or B, I think he actually dies, and this is the whiff of death and all is lost. And Adam has to now navigate like losing a friend. He just lost a friend that he just got, and what happens with him and the Jamie Foxx's wife. And
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is a hard-earned worker. Like, he's in New York. He is like a Wall Street guy or something, and he's constantly moving. He's opposite of Adam.
Yeah.
And Jamie's like obviously furious. Like, you are in my, like, you have a life and I don't. Like, I was so good to my family. So it's that big opposite extremities, and they start making a relationship. So it was a big thing that I couldn't figure out if Jamie Foxx, like, just is it Ghost Town? Does Adam fulfill what Jamie Foxx needed to do, or what
And
he
then he
needed
can-
to do
yeah.
for Jamie?
Yeah. I really like the vibe of that, and I feel like that decision right there for as writers is gonna determine what kind of movie this is. You know what I mean? Like, it can go really sad, and he can like, I feel like it's a totally different tone of movie if he survives.
I know.
Like, it could be. I really like it. It's like you're kind of towing a line that's like, could be like you mentioned Shallow Hal earlier, that body switching sort of like magical thing happens. It could be that tone if he wakes up, or I could see it as like, sort of Punch Drunk Love almost, like if he doesn't wake up. I like this.
I've been battling with that. I've had the idea for a while.
Yeah.
I just thought it was interesting.
I sort of feel like it's more you if he doesn't wake up.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
Well, I would say the theme, the title is the theme, really.
Yes.
What I feel just from like what I've heard and where and thinking, through from where you've said, I feel like he should die, because there's no more, like, nobody understands what Adam Sandler has gone through other than Jamie Foxx, who is now gone. And the point of the movie is Adam Sandler needing to take the front. I guess you could do it either way still, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
But if he falls in love with his wife, it's weird that he's back alive.
Unless that's not, it wasn't, like sometimes you, especially for a lonely person, you kind of just put that, you get those roles mixed up. If you don't have a love interest, you don't have family, you don't have friends, anybody gives you some attention, it could just feel like, love to him, and it could not be. Or it could, like, why not? It's just messy. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it is what it is. And he could end with actually having a friend in Jamie Foxx.
That's what I was
Again,
thinking
it's
too.
a little bit, it's a different tone, like, it's not that weird drama, it's kind of, I don't know. It's an interesting one, though. I like this. I say that for everything. I like this. I do.
He likes it. Like he likes it.
I'm going to
Do
say
you
I
like
don't
it,
like the
like
next
it?
one, just so I can.
That's fine. This one's called Under the Boards.
Don't like it.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Let's move on to the next one. This one's called Wiener Eater. You sure you want to go to that?
Under the Boards.
Under the Boards is like Mississippi Grind, The Wrestler, Nomad Land, Leave No Trace. This is me and Kyle have talked about this one. Working title, don't know if that's the actual title. But it is like the real life of I think a gambling addict in Atlantic City.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's Idris Elba waking up literally under the boardwalk where they do sleep. This actually happens, gets a welfare check and gambles it.
Wow.
And it's ups and downs. So he gets he gets the check. They know him in the casino. He wins big. But we see that it's not any surprise to him. He wins 10 grand. This has happened before. He takes the 10 grand, goes to a motel next to a prostitute. You're back. Hey, how you doing, honey? Goes over there, sleeps with her, gives her $100. How long are you going to be staying here? He doesn't know because he just whittles away at the money. He goes and sees his daughter, who's married with a kid, and they're almost kind of sick of him. But she's so inviting. He goes inside. She doesn't want anything to do with him. He's kind of still washed up, whatever. He wants to take her granddaughter out. And then she says, okay. And he's like, no, the husband. Did you get a job? Yeah, I'm looking for one. He goes in the casino again to gamble. Kevin James, a high roller, sees him. And he's winning. And Kevin James is sees him outside because he was playing well at cards. He's like, yo, I'll pay you like a ton of money. Like he's like high roller. To count cards with me. Like, let's have some fun. And he's like, sure. So he takes the granddaughter out. He tells him, I got a job. I got real money and a job. Takes the granddaughter out, loses the granddaughter at the pier. She's found by the cops. Fucking, his daughter's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? We can't leave you out with her again. And he's like, I fucked up. He goes to work. Kevin James, they're doing well, and then he's caught. Kevin James is beaten to death.
Oh my God.
Basically, he gets out with no money, and he's just not whittling down at his money. He won 10 grand, and he, the daughter's still like, she shows up at the motel, and she's like, you're still here, and he's like, no, I'm looking for a place. I got money to put down on a place. Now he's got like $9,500 now. He finds a place. They want 9 grand down. That's almost all of his money.
Mm-hmm.
He agrees. He gives them the money. And then he gets a job at McDonald's. And he fucking hates it. And he goes to see the daughter again. And he asks her for money. He doesn't have his paycheck yet, but he has no money now. He sees where she puts the money. He goes back to work, gets his paycheck, gets mugged on the way home with his McDonald's paycheck. Like, he cashes it out and just gets fucking pistol whipped. Goes back, has no money again. And then he's like, I'm just going to go steal from my daughter, and where she put the fucking money in the floorboards. Husband finds him, says, yo, we're leaving. You're a piece of shit. Just take the money. I don't want to see you ever again. He gets the house, but he has no money. He, I think, gets, I think before he gets a McDonald's check, it's like his last day because he fucking gets in a fight with like some kid at the drive-thru, like throws him a cheeseburger in his face or something, and the guy's like, you're out. He's like, my paycheck. He's like, here, just fucking get out. Maybe he gives him cash from the drawer and is like, this is your day's pay.
Yeah.
I don't even want to see you. He gets the house. You think everything's better. He tries to get another job. I think maybe the real estate agent says, like, I need somebody. You know, if you need some, like, if you can be an assistant, blah, blah, blah. He goes to the daughter's house, and they're gone. And then he has still a little bit left money in the motel, and he goes and gambles it. And that's the end. Where he's basically sitting at the slot. The person, you know, the bartender who always knows him, puts the drink down. Everything's set up for him already. He's been there so many times, and he's still like, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah.
And you hear, and it ends.
Okay. This one.
You like this one?
This is a very interesting character study. Like this this person exists, these people exist, and we've like even kind of known some, or at least known of some, and it's like, it's just sad, but it's like very real. I honestly don't even know. I feel like you could just make it like that, because it does feel like The Wrestler. I was the only, if we were trying to like movie-ize this or like Hollywood-ize this at all, I'd be like, well, I would say like, how does he change from the beginning or end or whatever? And I feel like it's no, that's the roller coaster of an addict's life, right? I honestly feel this feels to me like the type of movie you could make with a very, very small budget. Like they did The Wrestler, like a sort of lean on the one actor and shoot it on location. There's no like special sets or anything like that. You need like a motel, you need a casino type location, and houses, right? Like I think as a low budget sort of indie, to me, this feels like a really great script to write. But I would honestly push for us to sort of work on this one.
Cool.
I really do like this.
Awesome. Kyle yawned during he actually brings the mic closer and he goes, next. I like it. That's really, really good.
But do any of the animals talk?
Hey, listen,
dude, 5 out of 5 yawns, bro. It was great. I loved it.
5 out of 5 yawns.
But I know, like, I've known for a long time how much you love The Wrestler, and this is definitely like right up the alley of that. Like, you just see, it's not like there's this epic character arc. It's like, this is a person that's already become. It's almost like I wouldn't say The Wrestler is like a cautionary tale, but kind of, right? Like, it's sort of, this is what can happen if you just don't stop with the thing that is maybe your vice a little bit. Okay, it's interesting.
Next one's called Wiener Eater. It's basically Happy Gilmore. So it's very much, I think, a very good need-want. He wants to be the best chef, and he's the worst at it. He was on like Gordon Ramsay's show and had like a pissing like match with him, but he's really good at eating. So it starts off with this montage like Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore does Tuesday's Gone. This does listen to the music. Doobie Brothers.
Okay.
And he is going through like basically his life. Like, my name's Zach Galifianakis. I would love, but we were also talking like Aquafina or someone.
Aquafina would be cool for like Black Widow.
My name is Zach, and I love to cook. Well, I'm not that good at it, and he's like doing something stupid with the mom, but my mom is my idol. She's the best chef in the world, and we have this restaurant. It's amazing. It's this diner downtown, and I wait tables, and maybe I'm not good at making food, but I'm good at eating it. And he's like eating a ton of food in front of people, and they're like amazed. So the goal, and his mom passes, but after, my mom passed away, it's been me and my dad. It's been rough, and we basically get to where we are, where the restaurant's not doing that well, and we just find out that it's being foreclosed on, and his dad basically lost their child at home, like everything, and he's like, it's pretty bad.
It's everything you'd feel like would happen at the beginning of a movie to somebody.
Exactly.
I like it.
Everything is lost.
Yep.
And then he goes out to a restaurant, and Zach's like, I'll get the bill because you're broke. And it's like, if you eat this pizza, you get a free meal. And he's like, I'll do that. And the waiter's like, really? No, like no one's done that.
No one's ever eaten.
And his dad's just like, yeah, just give it to him. He'll do it. And he does it. And Alan Arkin's there at the bar and sees him. And he's like, oh my God. And he goes out to his car, and Alan Arkin comes out, and he's like, hey. And Zach's like, what? You're going to call me fat? You're going to say I'm a fat ass eater? All this stuff. And he's like, what you did was amazing. You're incredible. And he's like, yeah, I heard it all before. You're just trolling me. Well, winds up Alan Arkin will be his Chubbs from Happy Gilmore, his mentor, who has been an eating champion. And he's like, hey, you should do this to make some money. And he does one just to make a little bit of money. And he's like, great, we can kind of like make amends with the bank. And he gives $2,000 to the bank, and they're like, yeah, it's $100,000 or $50,000.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck, Dad? We were that under. So there is a villainous wiener eater, Owen Wilson or something, and he's kind of like he wears like he's already the Happy Gilmore where he's wearing the like rock and roll music and all this stuff, eating hot dogs. I'm the best, but he's actually fake. He's like actually like real like hoity-toity, and he just puts on this like Larry the Cable Guy show for everybody.
Yeah.
And he obviously hates Zach because he's really good. So what happens is Owen Wilson buys the restaurant foreclosure, and he wagers him, and he's like, hey, I won't turn this into a fancy restaurant. Let's be real. My fans won't be eating at this fancy restaurant. They're poor. They eat hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Zach goes to his house because he tries to like reel him in at one point, and the dogs eat the hot dogs. Like his German Shepherds, he's like, I don't eat that. I eat like caviar. I don't eat that trash. But yeah, it just becomes like a show off at the standoff at the hot dog
at the
concert.
wiener stand.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I feel like it reminds me of like Beer Fest. Like it feels like the Broken Lizard guys could kind of like,
kind of Broken Lizardy. Yeah.
I don't like. I would say definitely like Happy Madison. You know, like the villain could certainly be Kevin James if Adam Sandler's still making those Netflix movies.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like he could do it with his crew.
Nick Swartzen can be the lead.
Rob Schneider could be, you know, like an eater in it. You know, yeah. This is fun.
Yeah. Yeah. The next one is Taking Out the Trash. This is a buddy cop movie. It is Men at Work meets Lethal Weapon. Rebel Wilson, Tiffany Haddish. So this starts
Men
out,
at Work meets what? Sorry.
Lethal Weapon.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So Rebel Wilson is trying out for the FBI. I think the first scene is her like doing the course, and she's really good. It's kind of Men in Black where she shoots like a guy there's cardboard cutouts, and she shoots the guy holding a baby and shoots like the wrong things, but really well. And they're like, hey, you didn't pass.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Tiffany Haddish and like the captain, whoever that may be. And Tiffany Haddish like hates Rebel. And she's like, why? And the captain's like, why did you shoot this one? And she's like, you know, I didn't like how he was holding the baby. He just seemed kind of like a dirtbag. Like, you shouldn't hold a baby like that. It's illegal. Like, so you shot him. So she doesn't pass, and this is like a year later. And she's working as a garbage lady. Trash man. Trash
Sanitation
lady.
worker?
No, trash lady.
As a trash lady.
Yeah. And Lethal Weapon, Danny Glover, is like the driver, and she throws the trash in. She always steals some of the trash because they do like rich neighborhoods. So she lives in a trailer park, and her whole trailer is just like fancy ass trash.
She steals trash from the rich neighborhood.
Yep.
I love it.
And we had this one moment where she gets in, and there's a guy, and he's like, hey, trash lady. And she's like, oh, hi. And the guy next to him's like, isn't that your daughter? And he's like, yeah, watch this. You still picking up trash? Yeah, Dad. So he's obviously awful. So yeah. So what happens is she accidentally, so she goes and picks up she leaves something by a bush because Danny Glover's like, hurry up, and it's a thing she can't fit but she wants. So she throws it next to a bush and's like, I'll go back and get it later. Pineapple Express she goes and witnesses something and gets the trash, and Tiffany Haddish is like looking at her like, what the fuck is she doing here? So she gets herself wrapped into this big case, and the captain says like, you're gonna be our informant. So Tiffany, you have to like
work with her. Actually,
I forgot the way she's taking the trash, remember? And Rose Byrne comes out, and she's like, trash lady, trash woman, trash person. I'm sorry.
Forget what we call you guys.
Sanitary worker. And it's like, trash lady sounds more fitting. And she that's why she throws the thing to the side, so she doesn't see that she's
it's like taking her trash.
But she gives her gift cards to Chili's for being such a good trash lady.
Like,
and she's like, here's $20. I'm sure you can go a couple times because it's cheap.
It's a good value.
It's good value.
You guys like that, right?
So her and Tiffany Haddish, of course, meet at Chili's for the first
Yeah, there's
thing.
got to be a
She's like,
lot of Chili's,
I have
right?
a gift
yeah,
card.
yeah.
So the Chili's is actually like the waiter, I think, of that gives her maybe even a tip the second time they go.
Okay.
But of course they're meeting up. The captain's like, she's the informant. Tiffany gets on a call when Rebel is there. You have to come with me, and they go on to their first like mission where Rebel is supposed to just stay in the car, but of course she gets herself involved.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, because I had mentioned this idea to you, like that case, even though it's like seems like a small thing, is part of the bigger picture case, which I don't know really what it is. I was thinking something with art and stealing, and that's why they throw out all this trash. So her trailer is actually all of this real expensive art that Danny Glover was supposed to extract. He's the twist of the bad guy. He's an ex-cop. And he was supposed to take all of this trash on a different day, like he completely fucked up. And instead, Rebel took it and just put it in her trailer.
I love the art heist thing. I love the twist. Yeah, like the other guys.
Yeah.
You know, that whole like it's oh, you thought this was nothing, but I did the This is what's the one? Is it Miscongeniality?
Sandra Bullock?
There's another, there's like the buddy cop one with Sandra Bullock and Melissa The Heat. That's such a good movie. Yeah. I love
that. So
I
when
love
I
buddy
looked up,
cop stuff.
I was like, buddy cop women is not done enough. There's so many men want.
Yeah.
And I was like, Thunder Force was a good, like, wasn't buddy cop, but buddy superhero women.
Yeah.
And
Same concept.
And I immediately thought of The Heat, and I'm like, dude, but Rebel Wilson and Tiffany Haddish.
Yeah.
And I think the her being an actual trash lady and taking out the trash being the saying for the bad guys.
Yeah,
I thought
it's fun,
dude.
dude.
It's hokey and fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I
like
think
this one.
We should beat this one out.
We haven't done one like this, and I love like hokey mystery where you're just we just said the other guys, but the or the good guys, and then there's the other guys.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
the
they're
other
both
guys,
great.
Yeah, but I love the other guys where it's just like super fun banter. We haven't like done where like this scene is just banter. Like what is it, like Mikey and the Funky Bunch had a fucking wild time in the car. There's raccoon semen everywhere.
Yeah.
There's juices that I don't even know where they found them, and you're just like, this is so great.
Yep.
So I'm thinking that would be a lot of fun. I try to change it up here. I try to get some. I like hokey, corny comedy. I definitely go towards that, but I try to get some dramas in here. All right, so this one's kind of interesting. What's up?
I love that one.
Okay. He loves
I
that one.
like the other ones. I love that.
He loves it.
Working title, terrible title, .01. So this is kind of a sci-fi action drama. I actually don't know where exactly it's going towards, but the beginning starts with like Jamie Foxx in a like war scene, and he is there are soldiers that he's a medic, and he's putting kind of like, I think you said it best, like a Insta-Stitch spray on them.
It'll like stop the bleeding, like coagulates your blood. Basically heals you almost right away, or like stops it.
He gets
essentially.
So it ends the scene, and he's in a simulation, and he invented this thing, and he's trying to like work on new products. You find out later that the reason why he did it was he was a soldier, and his husband bled out and wasn't being able to be saved, and entrepreneurial mind came in and said, this can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very smart guy, obviously. He has a daughter. They had a daughter. He still has a daughter. And they are just moving. This is the morning of them moving into the .01 bubble, which is this super rich community. Where it's literally a bubble, and they control the environment, they control everything, and only the uber rich go in there. And he's like, this will be the best for my daughter. That's what he thinks, but he starts understanding that it's not, because she starts kind of becoming a little bit like off-putting with his relationship with her. I had a little plan at the beginning where she always like, very military like she makes her bed in the morning. He realizes she's changing completely. And then he realizes, oh, this community that I'm in, he befriends like Paul Rudd, and when he's going there, there's like a Michael Rappaport at the entry of the bubble, like, you're all sheep, or like he's like a conspiracy guy, but he's actually onto something. And Jamie Foxx realizes that and obviously starts becoming his friend. He's like, yo, what's going on? And there's this big thing where basically like the war that he was in, these people control everything. These are the uber rich, and he realizes everything that I was doing for good was to prevent these people. It's really all I had. I actually just like the idea of one, Jamie Foxx being like this innovative war hero type thing, and the fact that he's moving into this like uber rich neighborhood where people control that shit.
That's something, a space I'm always interested in, is like the conspiracy theories that are kind of like at some level have to be true. Like wars happen all the time, but like what's really behind it, because people profit when there's wars.
Yep. So what I was thinking is Paul Rudd is this guy that he actually starts snooping on, because he's like, I think he's up to something. And he ends up basically revealing what Paul did by putting him in that simulation that you see in the beginning and making a simulation of the neighborhood basically being attacked. And Paul Rudd spills the beans, and he's like, you were in a simulation. Because it's all contacts and things like that.
Yeah. So it's like super sci-fi. That's why I was wondering, what's the level of science fiction?
He changes his contacts and all those things, so he feels like he's in the simulation. As an audience, you actually think it's real, because you're like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then he pops it out, and he's like, oh my God, you fucking tricked me.
To me, it feels like an, what's his name? Like Neil Blomkamp kind of movie. Is that the guy that did
I don't know. District 9.
I feel like he could totally handle like a movie like this. It's kind of like that level of sci-fi, like in our still in our world, but like near future sort of sci-fi, like not so distant future, I guess.
Yeah. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
We haven't had something like that was like action-y, sci-fi.
Yeah.
I thought it was. I mentioned it to Andrew, and he always brings it up. He's like, "How's that .01?" I'm like, that's the one." And he's like, "Yeah, like the bubble. Like imagine you live, and these crazy rich people are in there controlling not only the environment they're in, but the environment's out." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think it's pretty cool." We had this idea. I don't know if we should go over it now, but Mischief Night.
Oh
it's
yeah,
a great title. It's a great.
Mischief Night is like the. I almost said bunch of bank robbers guys. Once that movie's made, it's the Workaholics guys, and they come back to their hometown for their friend's funeral.
Without a paddle, love it.
Without a paddle, it's like a ton of movies, but now we're putting time traveling in it.
Oh, time traveling's in this. Okay.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes,
okay.
It's
okay.
That's it. That's exactly it. So. They actually, now I'm thinking of the scenes, and they're pretty good. We riff on this one every now and then. So they come back, and it's Mischief Night that night, and they're like, "Yeah, let's get into some mischief." Like they go into first they go into their house. Kurt Russell's his dad, Anders' dad, and they go into his room. It's exactly the same. The soundtrack is Jock Jams. That's important.
Jock Jams is the soundtrack.
So they're like, "Yo, let's have a sick mischief night, man. Let's go out." And they go out, and no one's out. And they're like, "What the fuck is this?" No kids are like causing any like a ruckus.
Yeah, no toilet paper, no smashed pumpkins.
Oh, maybe
nothing.
it's too early. And they're like, "Yo, let's do it to Mrs. Clydesdale's house." And they run up, and they're like, "Ding dong ditch." And he rings the doorbell, and it's like, "I can see you," because it's a Ring doorbell. And he's like, yeah, come to your door. And she's like, "I'm on the couch and I can see you." And he's just like, freaking technology is ruining Mischief Night. So like all this tech stuff is like, this sucks. We can't even cause mischief.
One of them gets like the Ring alarm on their phone. Like, it says that there's people out here in the neighborhood. That's us. Yeah. Okay.
Like that. Have you seen this guy? There's a picture of it.
Yeah.
So they always used to go to this liquor store and get liquor illegally, I guess, now that I think of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same woman or man that's been there. And his wife passed away. Now his wife's been gone for a long time, but he's being like real weird to them, and they're like, "What's going on with you?" And they're just getting like a 6-pack. He's like, "Hey, like I heard about Dan or whatever his name is. he was a good kid. Like, I miss you guys and all this stuff, and you're all good kids, and can't believe he's gone. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you something. It's a special moonshine. Here, I brewed it myself. And there's like, okay, man, I'm not gonna drink your weird ass moonshine. and then he like pulls one of them aside, like Anders. I think he's like the protagonist, and he's like, it could be any of them. Actually, I actually like him just doing it to Adam, and he's like, you come back now, like something real weird. And he's like, all right, dude, whatever. And he's like, just make sure you don't drink it all in one sitting. And he's like, all right, man, chill with the moonshine thing. And they go back, and they do drink the moonshine.
I could totally see that being Adam, dude.
And, and they go back, and Ariel mentions some great ones because they start getting drunk, and they're like, yeah, this is pretty sweet. And they actually do, when they're coming home, I think they TP a house, like, there are kids out. They're like, oh, this is awesome. Kids are out now. See, we were just like on the wrong cusp of it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember if that happened. No, it happens after. I'm an idiot. So they go home and they drink. They're like, let's drink a little bit. Wait till it gets a little later. Kids will be out. And they're like starting to hallucinate a little bit. And the TV's like warping.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like turns into like That's So Raven, all that. And they're like, and then the Jock Jams music comes on. And then they're like out on the street. Like it cuts to them out in the street. And kids are riding their bikes. And they're like, hell yeah, Mischief Night started. And they went back in time to their childhood when they met Dan, because he says when you have a drink, toast to your friend and all the memories. I promise you won't regret it. Nice. But don't drink it all. And he's like, whatever, dude. I'll drink as much moonshine as I want. I'm an adult. Free ass moonshine.
Butt chug this moonshine. Tell me what to do.
Butt chug this moonshine.
So when they wake up, moonshine's gone. He hasn't made it yet, of course, at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And they run into the friend, and they're like, oh my god, we're having all these feels.
As a kid?
Yeah.
Got it.
And then the kid is really smart. He's the smart one of the group, and he realizes they actually start to tell him eventually, and he's like, so that's like they have maybe his ashes with him. I was thinking
they
too,
bring
like
his ashes,
the mom might give it to him, be like, hey, spend a night with him or all this stuff,
or they have like part of it is like dumping the ashes somewhere, but then they have it with them when they like time travel too.
Yeah, and then they lose it, we thought, and we have to regain it to like, and the kid's just like, oh my god, I'm in here, this is my ashes. That's like insane. And he's like, do I die? I do die young. You guys are kind of, well, you're kind of old. And they're like, no, we're young. And so the kid knows, obviously, but I like that each one has a thing. One has like a lighter from their childhood. The one guy he made the ringtone for the iPhone. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Then that's Anders. And the one has another thing about him. So there is a moment where all these things collide, where they're like, we have to do these fireworks, or the world will be disarray because we screwed it up.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously this time loop always happens. So when they do it, Blake, who has the lighter, loses the lighter, and him as a kid picks it up, and that's the loop. Anders' phone goes off, and him as a kid hears it, and he's like,
yeah. That's amazing.
That's a good. He's like, that's a good little tone.
That's not getting out of my head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they realize, oh, we've done this already.
Yeah. He was always gonna die. That's crazy. Yeah, I kind of like now that it's getting like trippy time travel thing. That's fun. So their goal is get back to regular time. Wouldn't their goal also be like, yo, let's just tell Dan not to die, right? Like, you know.
So that's the Dan basically says like, you can't. Like, Dan's a smart one of the group, and like
it's impossible because you're here.
And they have
what do you mean? Like,
and they give him a note, and he says like, put this in my dresser drawer for his mom. Like, you don't know this,
okay.
But, and he's like, I had a sick night, and he's like, I'm excited to meet you guys. So when they leave, them three as kids, like, remember we met Dan at the end of that night? They pull up and they're like,
that's awesome.
Yo, what's up, nerd? And he's just like, hey.
And they don't know that Dan knew them.
They just left,
that's really
and
nice.
Dan knew the whole time
that
they already time traveled. And he was like, I'm so smart.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I love the universe. Like, he's that smart.
Yeah.
And at the end, they give this like epic speech of how like Dan meant the world to them, of course, and that Dan was actually like the reason why they got in all these cool. Like everyone thinks Dan's like the dry, like the wet blanket, but you know he was the one that made us goofy but kept us safe and all this stuff. And then they dump his ashes out as the mom, I think, like sees the letter. Like I basically knew. I think like
Dude, honestly, I feel like this has a really great theme. It's kind of like really cool with the time loop thing. What I would want to figure out for it is, you know, is there any other than like let's just get back? Is there any other kind of like
conflict? So we did
ticking time bomb kind of thing, like.
So the moon, maybe like when the like dusk, you have to make sure don't drink it all, and dusk. Or something, but then we did have a time cop.
I feel like there's got to be a villain.
Like
there's got to be. It's got to be a villain.
There was a weird like time cop thing that we like added in.
Well, what if again, it's sort of a setup of the past. That's like, what if early in the movie they're like, that mischief night. Remember that mischief night was the craziest night of our whole entire lives. If I could go back and change one thing about my life, it would be that mischief night. Because I wish it didn't go down like that. Like, what if, you know, like, and the point of the movie is, like, it had to go down like that, but, like, it, you know, when they were kids, they didn't know that they were adults there.
Yeah,
you know?
That's exact, yes.
And so the adults are trying to fix the night, but they're causing the night.
Perfect.
And maybe, like, honestly, I don't want to go too crazy, but maybe it's like there's somebody ends up dead, like an old person, like they see their first dead body, and, like, you know. And
I love it.
I feel like I'm putting the kids in the movie a little more, but I feel like if you do kind of like, what's that? The one with the young boy. The Boys? No, The Boys is the other one. It's kind of the newfangled super bad movie, but they're like even
Booksmart?
younger.
No.
But it's kids.
The kids. Like,
The Boys is the show. Is it all?
Good
Boys.
Good Boys. Yeah.
Like
if it's those kids, kind of like, you know, as the. But I feel like you make them more of a character, and like, you know, they are trying to solve something for the night. Like, you know, what do you do when you find a dead body or something along those lines? I don't know what it is, but I think if we crack that code of this group needs to do this thing on Mischief Night, this group needs to do this thing and needs to get back into regular time and save Dan, and you know, if we just found out those things, it kind of falls into place plot wise, and it could be really funny.
I think it could be.
Okay,
I like it. Also, I had the first scene where they meet up. They're at the cliff. Like, he has them meet at the cliff where he wants to throw the ashes. And Adam's, like, pretending to, like, he's going like this. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, just like, how are we going to...
Practicing. You only get one shot.
Oh, that's good. And he should mess it up, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking in the letter to the mom, he's like, make sure they do, like... throw my ashes, they'll overthink it and screw it up, but that's what I love about them. And then
yeah. Everything he said, that's cool.
So yeah, like the denouement is like she's reading the letter, they're throwing the ashes, and whatever music.
It was always everything was always meant to be, and it was perfect. I really like that.
I love them leaving and the three kids rolling up and being like, "Hey, nerd," because they like already like. And then Adam's immediately like, "What are you listening to? Some nerd music?" He's like, "Jock James." He's like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
All right, cool.
Yeah, I like that one.
I really like that one. So there's
how many more?
Those are my levels. I like, I love, and I really like.
Oh, that was a really like.
Yeah, I really like.
Okay. So running out of time here, right?
It's all right. Yeah.
So real quick, these ones are fleeting thoughts. I didn't really like. I didn't really like. I love the concept.
Opposite.
I really didn't like the execution of it. I don't know why, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I like that specifically. Tarantino takes these historic things and puts a twist on them.
Alternate history.
Mm-hmm. So I thought alternate history with Jonestown. Okay. And Joaquin Phoenix is the cult leader, and Jonah Hill is the one that kind of puts the twist, where he's basically like, I'm just a new member, but now I'm questioning what you're doing. And then when they're about to they're kind of following Jonah now, and Joaquin's like real pissed. And towards the end, when they're gonna drink the Kool-Aid, now they're starting to become more individuals than Joaquin would like, and they're like, "Hey, can I have like blue raspberry?" And Joaquin's like furious. He's like, "No!" And then eventually, when they're all gonna drink it, Joaquin drinks it, and they're all like, "Yeah, we don't want to anymore. Yeah, like we're good." And then it ends with Jonah Hill going back to his life, and here's a doorbell ring, and he comes out, and it's all the cult followers, and they're like,
And he
our
starts a new
leader.
cult.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have.
That's like alternate.
I like the alternate Jonestown. And this is one that started actually Oregon Trail because I really didn't get. It's another Seth Rogen-esque, or like Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly would be great for this. It's a comedy during the Great Depression, right at the start of it. It's called Greatly Depressed. And they are shoe shiners on Wall Street. Fucking everything's great. People are giving them tips, everything. The market crashes that day. And they're like, oh no, all good. It'll be fine. The next day, everybody's a shoe shiner. All of the Wall Street guys, everyone's a shoe shiner.
Flooded with shoe shiners.
And they're like, what the fuck do we do? So they just go on like an epic adventure to find work and fail. That's really it. I was like, I need to look at the Great Depression era and see what weird shit they can get into.
Yeah.
I made this quick.
Lots of bread lines, baby.
Bread lines, baby. That's a great title.
Greatly Depressed is a funny title.
Yeah. I don't love the alternate Jonestown.
That's fine.
I'm like I feel like I have to tell you something that I don't like
Yeah,
because I ever say is, but I actually do kind of like it.
I don't like it.
You know what I mean?
Out of all of them, what one do you think though?
Out of all of them,
You think Under the Boards is something that we can make?
look, yes, I would push for writing Under the Boards because location is here. You could do that with a no-name actor. You know, like that's something that I feel like half the movie you could shoot by, like with just like one guy or one woman, depending on how you play it. I do love taking out the trash, but nothing sparked me in here more than Mischief Night.
Yeah,
because I think if
forgot about that.
If we could work out all of the little, like, I feel like that's one that's the type of movie that I love is or the moment in a movie that I love is like that did that because of that, and that whole movie would be that like whole cycle of they caused their own future, but like it was inevitable. I like playing with that.
Like you can almost rewatch it and catch
exactly
the, like, loop better.
And I
love like Looper, kind of like I loved Looper.
I love Adam also like probably nagging at Anders like, oh, he invented the dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Anyone could do that. Man.
Yeah. Like the plants and payoffs in that are automatically like pretty great.
Yeah.
I also just love those characters, those guys. Yeah. Like like I feel like them playing their kind of typical roles. It feels like easier to write toward that group because you kind of know their voices from Workaholics. Even though I'm certain they have more range than that, but like you can kind of put it in in that box and then you automatically have like different character voices. So that for me is like one I would love to beat out more.
Cool.
I would personally Under the Boards would just like feels like something we could make.
Sweet. And that's it for pitches, right?
Yeah.
We're about 2 hours into that.
Yo. Alrighty.
Let's cut it.
We all done.
But also feel like
Sorry, Luke.
I do like kind of targeting Matt Walsh specifically. You know what I mean? Like
for Found Missing.
Because I feel like we always write to like mega stars.
Yes.
Like Adam Sandler's. Like, you know what I mean? Like Matt Walsh. Not saying he's not like a huge star and always busy working, but like I don't know how many pitches he gets for like, hey, here's a movie we wrote for you as the star of, and it's not your typical role. I don't know. We just
just the monitor.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're done. Right?
Yeah.
That was good.
Awesome.
Stop.